Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra 2 Unit 7.2 Notes in Day 1. Now, um, sorry, because if you're watching the video, you might have been like, dude, some of these problems are different. So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to start with number 5 and number 6, and then on the back side, we're going to do number 4 and 5. Okay? So, starting with number 5. I have x squared minus 5, minus 25. What I notice is those are binomials and it's a perfect square, which means I can take the square root and we would get x plus 5 and x minus 5, all underneath 12. And I'm going to times that by 36. Okay, if you're noticing, my 12 is staying, the 36 is staying, but then we still need to break down the 4x squared minus 21x plus 5. So as I do that, I'm looking for numbers that multiply to get to 20 and add to get to negative 21. And that is negative 1 and negative 20. So we get 4x squared minus 1x minus 20x plus 5. We split the middle term. Sorry, I'll zoom in a little bit so you can't read my chicken scratch. We factor out the x, and we get 4x minus 1. Negative 20 and 5, we can factor out a negative 5. Negative 20 divided by negative 5 is 4x, and 5 divided by negative 5 is negative 1. So we get 4x minus 1 and x minus 5. Okay, so that's what we put underneath right here, 4x minus 1, x minus 5. And now we can start to cancel everything. So I see x minus 5 and x minus 5, those cancels. The 12 and the 36, we can divide that because 36 divided by 12 is 3. So then we have the 3. I still have the x plus 5, and then we have the 4x minus 1. Okay, Mr. Grice, how'd you get that? Well, there's the 36, there's the x plus 5, and there's the 4x minus 1. You can kind of see how everything is still color-coded. Okay? All right. Okay. So there we go. I've got a binomial with subtraction, and they're both perfect squares. So that goes to x plus 4 and x minus 4. Oh, sorry. Okay, now we need to factor the x squared plus 5x plus 4. I'm looking for numbers that multiply to get to 4 and add to get to 5. And it's 1 and 4. Now, I like that because my leading coefficient is 1. So I can come over here and we can write that as x plus 1, x plus 4. Okay, and we're not done yet because now the 3x plus 3, I can factor out a 3 to that, so the 3 comes out front, and then 3x divided by 3 is x, 3 divided by 3 is 1, so that's everything from the pink over there. And now our last one, once again, I can factor, and I'm going to factor out a 6, so the 6 comes out front. 6 divided by 6 is just going to be the x, and 24 divided by 6 is 4. And now we can start to cancel everything out. So I see x plus 4 and x plus 4, x minus 4, x minus 4, x plus 1, x plus 1. And now we just have 3 divided by 6, and that is 1/2. So there we go. Now, no, that's not all we're going to do because I got to do 4 and 5 on this side. Okay? So, a couple things that I see first. One is that we have division. Okay? Oh wait, is it number 4 that we had to do? No, number 4 is the same. I gotta do number 3. Right? Is 3 different? Yeah, 3 is the different one. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, so number 3. Okay, so the first thing that we notice is that there is division. And when we see division, we have to multiply by the reciprocal, which means I have to flip the second part. Okay, so I'm doing the same thing as before. The x squared, I can't factor anything from that. But then below it, the 2x cubed minus 4x squared, I can factor out a 2, and then they both have x's, and the smallest one is x squared. So I can factor out 2x squared, and then my remainder is going to be x minus 2. Right? Yeah, sorry. Okay, so now, since I'm multiplying by the reciprocal, we have to flip these. So the 6x squared now comes to the bottom. And the 3x squared minus 6x is going to come up here, but once again, I'm going to factor that first. I can take out a 3, and I can take out an x. And my remainder is x minus 2. Okay? So right away, the only thing that I see that I can cancel is x minus 2's. But now I'm going to multiply everything across. Okay? So I have x squared times 3x, which is going to give me 3x cubed. And then on the bottom, I have 2 times 6 to get me 12. And then x squared and x squared is x to the 4th. And now I can reduce. 12 divided by 3 is 1/4. And then the x's, the bottom wins, and the bottom wins by 1. Okay? So the difference with multiplication is, if you watch the other video, is you have to multiply by the reciprocal. Okay? I mean, I was completely off because for that video should have been the same. I'm just double checking it right now. 5, it's the same, and then 6 is going to be different. Okay? So always look to see what symbol you have so you know what you're going to need to do. We're going to have to multiply by the reciprocal. You know how I like to kind of color code everything so I know where everything goes. Since I'm multiplying by the reciprocal, those change, they flip. Okay? So the first one, the yellow, I can factor out a 2, and then I'm left with x minus 2. On the bottom, guess what? I can also factor out a 2, but then we're left with x minus 4. Okay? So for the one in the pink, I'm looking for 2 times 2 is 4, and it's going to be -4. So I'm looking for numbers that multiply to -4 and add to get to -3. And those are 1 and 4, except the 4 is negative. Okay? So we have 2x squared plus 1x minus 4x minus 2. And we have to factor out an x. And then in the back, I need to factor out a -2. And then we get, sorry, that should be 2x plus 1. And negative 4 divided by negative 2 is 2x. Negative 2 divided by 2 is 1. So awesome, they match. So we get 2x plus 1 and x minus 2. Okay, so in the pink, we're writing 2x plus 1, x minus 2. And then for the gray, guess what? We have to do the same thing. So here I'm looking for numbers that multiply to get to negative 8 and add to get to negative 2. And those are 2 and 4. And once again, the 4 is negative. But the super nice thing about this, guys, is that my leading coefficient is 1, so I can go right to x plus 2 and x minus 4. Okay? So now we can start to cancel everything out. Okay? So, got x minus 2 and x minus 2, x minus 4 and x minus 4. My 2's cancel. But then I still have, what? Yeah, we have the x plus 2 and the 2x plus 1. And that's our remainder, because I can't cancel those out. There's nothing I can do with those, so that's it. I'm done. Okay? Well, guys, that's it for Algebra 2, Unit 7.2 Notes, video number 2, the kind of makeup problems. If you have any questions, please come see Ms. Carranza or myself. We would love to help you out. Otherwise, this is Mr. Grice, signing off. Thanks for watching.